We're going to be discussing the sales tax issue that will be voted on April 3rd of this year. I'd like for the panel, starting down with Mark, to introduce yourselves.
I'm Mark Woods from
I'm Terry Clark from Cessna Aircraft.
My name is Chuck Goad with Community National Bank and Trust.
My name is Fred Meyer with USD 446.
Andy Livingston, Earth Care Products Incorporated, Independence, Kansas.
Kim Kays, Express Employment
We have a
Professionals.
sales tax issue coming up, as I mentioned, on April 3rd, in which we hope to do a number of things. One of them is concerning the ADA responsibilities. The Department of Justice has said that we need to do. Would anybody like to discuss the ADA projects we will be having coming up? Sales tax issue.
I would say that the ADA project is something that we know we've got to do. It's based on a survey that was done by the Department of Justice, and I know the city signed an agreement that we're going to make some improvements in phases. So the question is how we're going to fund those improvements. I, like many citizens in Independence, feel like the property tax burden has been all it should be, and have always been an advocate for trying to find a way for the citizens to pay for all the services that we mutually need and need to share in the cost of in a more effective way than applying an over-relying burden on the property tax owners. Whether you own property in Independence or if you rent property in Independence, everybody has a burden to share on the property taxes. Some of us write a check to the county every year to pay our taxes. Some of us include it in our mortgage payments, and some of us who rent homes, it's included as a component of the rent we pay. So everyone pays property taxes. But there are a lot of people who use the amenities of Independence, which are tremendous. They don't own or live in Independence. So they've had the benefit of all those things for quite some time, while and the ADA piece of it is something that we need to do. It's something that all of us will eventually benefit from one way or the other. There are a lot of our citizens right now who are challenged to enjoy some of the different parts of our city or the different entertainment venues that we have because of some challenges with access. So I think I'm for the sales tax to take care of that and to reallocate some of the burden of all of the amenities that we all share to a larger group of folks.
And while we're all concerned about tax increases, and the things that Chuck just mentioned will cause an increase, but really not much beyond other communities in the area. So the tax, it would go up, but as other pieces of the levy fall off, it would in total go up a little, but not out of line with other communities in southeast Kansas.
If I have to pay a tax that would consider to be fair and equitable to all the payers in the tax line, would be the sales tax. I have owned a business in Independence, Kansas for 40 years, improved several pieces of property, spent quite a bit of money on those properties for employment, new jobs, and the thought of just increasing the taxes on that property that I have improved for the benefit of the city isn't equal to paying a sales tax. And the sales tax is more favorable in a business mode.
And one way to look at it is that with our new facilities in the school district, we have tournaments, ball games. There's a lot of things that are being sponsored by Neowalla, all these other wonderful activities that we have in Independence bring folks to town. When they come to town, they buy gas, they eat in our restaurants, they spend money. And when they spend money, they help us pay for that. And so, as was mentioned on the property tax issue, we're actually spreading it out more equitably because we're getting help from outsiders that come in. I think that's a real positive point that we need to remember.
Mark, as a retail business, what are your feelings about it?
Well, when we have customers come in the lumber yard that are looking to build houses, they never say your sales tax is too high. When they're looking at building in town, they always say your property tax is too high.
That's a good point.
A little bit I'd like to add about the customers that come to Independence to get their aircraft. We deliver airplanes all over the world. About half of the airplanes that we sell are delivered to international customers, so we're bringing in people literally from all over the world to Independence. Sometimes they spend the night, stay in our local hotels, eat at our local restaurants, and I think they're always very impressed to see what they see in Independence, and would be not put out at all to help us keep Independence a special place that it is.
Terry, do you let them drive down West Main when they come into town?
Yeah, we do. It's looking kind of rough. I heard recently that West Main, the piece of highway that we call West Main, is some of the roughest piece of road in the state of Kansas, is deemed by the Kansas Department of Transportation. And, first impressions are always lasting impressions. They say you never get a second chance to make a first impression. When we bring customers, when we bring clients or prospective employees to Independence, we want them to be as proud of things like we are. The zoo, the park, that are very special. We always drive downtown and we look at the architecture of the buildings, the library, the churches, the really special buildings throughout town. And this tax, while it helps comply with the ADA requirements, keeps Independence being the special place that we think it is.
Kim, tagging onto that, as you work with your employees, potential employees, how do they react to the sales tax, or how would this benefit from your perspective?
Well, I would like to back it up just a
Sure.
little further of when my husband and I were looking for a place to open our business. And we looked in southeast Kansas, and we drove through area communities, and we were looking at this region to buy and where would we headquarter our business. And we drove up Penn Avenue, and that was what I said to Mark was, this is where I want our home to be. This is where I want our business to be. Once we opened it, what we do is we help area businesses be competitive. To keep their competitive advantage, they have to have the top talent, the innovative people. So as we interview people, we have to bring them in. We court their spouses, their wives. We show them the school. We show them the area. And that's a deal breaker. If they don't like the town, then they're not going to move here. So to keep our businesses thriving, we have to have the top talent. And to have the top talent, we have to have the place that we're all proud of, and to keep it up.
Going on without Marks, has anybody ever said, what's the sales tax rate in Independence, Kansas that you've talked to?
Never. But I did worry about moving here because of the property tax. Would I be able to afford it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that's the question we have right there, is what people think of the taxes here and people coming in. And then businesses relocating. Is this a factor coming in, getting business to come in, the property tax?
Property taxes, yes, but the sales tax is, the small amount of sales tax that we do pay has been so well spent in the city of Independence. The results of what we paid for our sales tax for is evident everywhere, and whoever's spending it is doing an excellent job of giving us value for our sales tax.
The city has some information available that was actually put together by a larger group in Montgomery County, which documents what the municipal price index, cost index has been over the last 11 years. And that index is made up of various commodities that a city has to use to operate. And that cost index has been increased by over 41% over the last 11 years. Independence has been very, very good stewards of their budget. They've only increased their costs by about a little over 21%. So that's approximately half of what the municipal cost index has increased by if they would have just stayed status quo. So that indicates a real effort to try to keep their budget under control. Why that's important is that as we think about these new revenues that we're going to be authorizing for the city to use, the question is, will they be good stewards of those funds? And I think they've proven over the last 11 years that they will be good stewards of those funds. Now, does that mean that that we shouldn't show up at the budget meetings and the city council meetings and keep an eye on them? Absolutely not. I think we need to be there, but I think all the citizens would really benefit by actually showing up and being present at those meetings rather than carping at the coffee shop about what should have been done. If they'll show up in person and speak their mind and let people know what they think, then there's a real high likelihood that that'll be taken into consideration.
And I think part of this, and we talk about the sales tax, for so long that city budget stayed pretty level, and inflation's taken its toll, and now beginning to talk about cutting essential city services. Trash pickup, who knows what it might be. But a lot of things that we enjoy here in Independence, without this help, the mill levy may have to go up just to maintain the essential services, much less going on with streets, sidewalks,
One of the things
and
that
other.
I think is really important to keep in mind is that I heard him talking that $1 in maintenance today could save us $3 in a few years. So from that aspect, that makes this a really good investment for our community and for everybody in town, to be honest.
The 1 cent tax, only a fourth of that goes to ADA, correct?
Yes,
So-
yes.
So the 75% is for the benefit of all the citizens?
Yes.
Which is a big majority of the value.
Right, and we all could be affected by the ADA at any moment too, either ourselves personally or our family members. So that's something we have to keep in mind. Terry, you come here from a different community, different area. How would you say the maintenance and care of Independence compares to the other places that you've
We
been
moved
working?
here from Columbus, Georgia, with the intention of staying about 2 years, we thought. And, 12 years later, we still love it at Independence, and we hope to stay as long as we possibly can. It's a special place. We've never seen a community this size with the park and the zoo. I have 3 granddaughters that live in Wichita, and they always want to come to see Grandma and Grandpa. I think not so much to see Grandpa, but to go ride the carousel at the park and to see what's going on at the zoo. So it's a special place for them to visit. I've lived in a lot of other larger communities, but none with the quaintness, the warmness, the lack of some of the threats that you have to young people in larger communities. There's a warmness and quaintness that is very special. The roads, though, they're starting to get rough. And just like how we are at the factory complying with ADA requirements, the city's got to comply with those requirements, and we got to pay the bill somehow. So Independence is a special place. This sales tax helps keep it that way, and again, it doesn't make the tax level out of alignment with other communities. It's a tough choice to have to raise taxes, but in this case, I believe this is the right way for us to get the job done.
And the park and zoo's definitely in the need of some maintenance, long-term maintenance, some updating. Just simply need to be done in addition to the ADA part of the park and recreation facilities.
We shouldn't also forget about Niwala and the tens of thousands of visitors that come to town that use the streets, the sidewalks, where the improved access to some of the curbs or the sidewalks or the curbs could benefit a lot of people.
And with the sales tax, the amount they spend while they're here
It'll
too.
help too.
Right.
It'll help pay for it.
Love those out-of-town dollars coming in.
9.3% will be the tax. That's not out of line with any other sales tax in the area, and I think that everybody in this economic times in cities and municipalities are going towards more the sales tax than the other method of funding the operations.
And this is a clear choice, sales tax or property tax. There's no in-between here. And it's up to the voters on April 3rd to decide which way the City of Independence wants to do, which means people need to get out and vote. And of course, I think this group thinks vote affirmatively, and talk to your friends to vote.
Well, and I would encourage everyone to educate themselves on the facts.
Yes.
The city has some great information available. I'm sure they could inquire with them, and there's some other things that they can do, but it's really important that they get the facts together and make an informed vote come April 3rd, because that's really, really important that they understand what they're voting on and why.
And there will be those out there who say, well, we can put this off another 10 years. We can't put off ADA for another 10 years to start on it. We certainly can't put off Main Street for 10 years. We'll start losing people and cars in the chug holes along West Main. And there are other areas just as important, just as needy as we have
And
on those
something
two
to also
areas.
understand about that 10-year period you mentioned. With the sales tax, it does sunset at 10 years. With the property tax, that
Well,
may
I
not
want to
be
thank
the
you all for
case.
being here, taking your time and sharing your expertise and your opinions. And it's up to the voters. It's sales tax or property tax. April 3rd, go out and vote. Thank you.